The educational materials presented here were developed by students and faculty of the Department of Food Science and Human Nutrition at Iowa State University. Funding for this project was provided by grants from the American Cancer Society Midwest and the Lance Armstrong Foundation. The materials are intended for educational use and are not meant to provide medical advice. We welcome your feedback about these materials. Please use the evaluation survey link on the homepage to provide your comments and suggestions. Protein. During this presentation, we will talk about many aspects of protein, from why we need it to tips on how to make good choices. To begin, proteins are made up of amino acids. Different amino acids come together to form different types of protein. Protein is needed in the body for many reasons, most commonly for growth, as well as tissue replacement and maintenance. As previously mentioned, proteins are made up of amino acids. There are two types of amino acids, essential and non-essential. True to their names, non-essential amino acids can be synthesized by your body, and therefore it is not essential to get them from your daily diet. The other type of amino acid are essential, which means it is necessary to get them from your diet. Taking what we've learned about essential and non-essential amino acids, we can now discuss two more categories of protein. The categories are complete and incomplete proteins. A protein is considered complete when it contains all of the essential amino acids. Common sources of this type of protein are animal sources, such as meat and milk. Incomplete proteins, therefore, are proteins that lack one or more of the essential amino acids. Common sources of this type of protein are most vegetable proteins. Another type of protein that also exists are complementary proteins. Complementary proteins consist of two or more incomplete proteins that, when mixed together, form a complete protein. A classic example of this is rice and beans. Separately, they lack specific amino acids that are necessary, but together they provide a complete protein. Protein is found in many foods. All foods made of meat, protein, and fish contain protein, as well as other sources of dry beans or peas, eggs, nuts, and seeds. How much protein do you need to consume daily? How much protein is too much? And are you getting enough? One excellent source for understanding how much protein you need is www.mypyramid.gov. According to MyPyramid, adults should get 5.5 ounces of protein every day. Recommendations are made in ounce equivalents. For example, one meat patty is about 2 ounce equivalents. All foods have an ounce equivalent, and once they are learned, all you have to worry about is getting 5.5 of them each day. Listed here are some other examples of common foods and their ounce equivalents. 1 can of tuna is about 3 to 4 ounce equivalents. A 1/4 cup of dry cooked beans or 1 cup of bean soup is about 2 ounces of equivalents. 1 egg is about 1 ounce equivalent. 1 tablespoon of peanut butter is also 1 ounce equivalent. A 1/2 ounce of nuts or seeds, which is approximately 12 almonds, 24 pistachios, and 7 walnut halves, are each about 1 ounce equivalent. Here's some tricks to remember how much of different foods equal an ounce equivalent. Remember to pay attention to the thickness of the example as well as the size. 1 ounce of meat is approximately the size of a matchbox. 3 ounces of meat is about the size of a deck of cards or a bar of soap. This is the recommended portion for a meal. 8 ounces of meat is about the size of a thin paperback book. 3 ounces of fish is about the size of a checkbook. 1 ounce of cheese is about the size of 4 dice. And 2 tablespoons of peanut butter is about the size of a ping pong ball. You don't have to eat meat in order to get enough protein in your diet. This is a short list of vegetarian sources, and depending on the type of vegetarian you are, you may want to avoid several of these. Eggs for the ovo-vegetarians, beans, nuts, nut butter such as peanut butter or almond butter, peas such as chickpeas, cowpeas, lentils, or split peas, and soy products which include tofu, tempeh, and veggie burgers. This is a list of some tips for making good choices of protein sources. Be sure to choose lean cuts of meat such as round steak, tenderloin, boneless, skinless chicken breast, and ground beef that is at least 90% lean. Trim visible fats from meat and poultry before cooking. Skip or limit the breading on meat, poultry, or fish. And when cooking meat, broil meats and use a small amount of oil with sautéing or frying. Here's a picture of a nutrition facts label. This is simply to show you where you can look on a nutrition label to find protein. You will notice that protein is listed in grams, and we have discussed protein needs in ounce equivalents. Roughly 7 grams is equal to 1 ounce equivalent. In summary, protein is needed in the body for growth, tissue repair, and tissue maintenance. There are different categories of proteins, which include complete, incomplete, and complementary. Sources of complete protein are meat and milk, and most sources of incomplete protein are vegetables such as nuts, seeds, beans, and peas. Complementary proteins are combinations of incomplete protein that, when combined, make a complete protein, such as rice and beans. It is recommended that adults get 5.5 ounce equivalents of protein each day. Remember to choose lean sources of meat and use healthy cooking methods to meet your protein needs.